What's up guys? Welcome to this week's episode of Murfsworld. My name is Murph for all your new viewers. Every week I'm here to tell you what's good on Netflix, Amazon and Sky, so you're not stuck in isolation without anything to watch. Thank you everybody who came along to the quiz last Friday. The next big quiz is going to be on Friday the 8th of May, the bank holiday. Looks like we're going to be stuck in isolation for the foreseeable future, so why not get everybody together, call all your family, all those distant relatives, get all of them together, let's all play this quiz. It was a lot of fun, let me tell you. So thank you everybody who took part and made it so much fun. Make sure you share this video, let everybody know about next week's quiz, and hopefully we'll have the biggest turnout yet and lots more fun. It was really, really good, guys. Thank you very much for coming along. This week I have been watching so many great new films and shows. Last week was a bit so-so. This week has been fantastic. So stay tuned to find out what I think is the best series of 2020 so far. Absolutely fantastic one. We got some great new film releases as well. So without further ado, let's see what I've been watching this week. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood on Sky Cinema. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a massive film by none other than Quentin Tarantino. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio as an actor sort of towards the end of his dwindling career, and his stunt double played by Brad Pitt. It's set in the 70s and in Hollywood, and there's lots and lots of in-jokes. So if you're a film geek like myself, there's so many cameos by people sort of playing other actors and stuff like that. It's a real kind of geek fest. I think this movie was mainly aimed at film lovers and film buffs, because a lot of the kind of jokes you may not get unless you know a lot about films. You have characters popping up such as Bruce Lee, for example, you may have seen in the trailer, and the movie also stars Margot Robbie as Sharon Tate. Now, those who don't know, Sharon Tate was actually murdered in the 70s during the Charles Manson's kind of reign of terror through Hollywood. I don't want to give too much more away about it. This is Tarantino's take on events, and there's been plenty of movies recently about Sharon Tate. I think there must have been some license lifted or some book rights where people could actually do films on the story, because about 3 or 4 came out at once. The movie itself, for me personally, I thought it was some great acting, great dialogue, some great banter, things like that, but I found it very, very slow. Now, it's about 2 hours 40 in total, and I'd say there's probably only about 10 minutes of action, kind of Tarantino level action. So I was a bit disappointed. It was almost a bit like The Hateful Eight, where it kind of dragged, and then obviously, there was a big action sort of sequence at the end, and maybe that's the style Tarantino's going for at the moment. Out of all the Tarantino films, this wasn't one of my favourites, to be honest. I was a bit disappointed. I have only seen it once, and that was when it was at the cinema, so maybe my expectation was extremely high. So I will be re-watching this one today. Obviously now it's premiering on Sky. Overall, a very, very decent film. Probably an 8 out of 10. I'm expecting a 10 out of 10 with Tarantino. So that's where I stand here. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Extraction on Netflix. This is a Netflix original movie with a big budget, some big stars such as Chris Hemsworth, the leading man, and overall I found it disappointing. After watching Spencer Confidential not so long ago, the big budget one with Ryan Reynolds, which I did enjoy, I did review that as well. If you haven't seen it already, I'll put a little link. I had very high expectations. Unfortunately, they were not lived up to. The first half of the movie, I found it very just action, a bit John Wicky, which I found a bit boring really. I found it hard to kind of feel compassion for the characters. It was just a bit too wham bam thank you ma'am. Chris Hemsworth is brilliant at doing comedy and action as well. He's a real heartfelt sort of actor. In this, they didn't really give him enough comedy. It was a bit playing it straight, which, understandable with the kind of character. But I just felt this movie didn't really know what it wanted to be. Was it going to be a kind of action comedy like the Ryan Reynolds one? Or was it going to be a real serious, dark, gritty kind of, which I think it wanted to be, but it just didn't quite deliver. The story follows Chris Hemsworth's character, who is a mercenary who's been hired to go to India and rescue a gangster's daughter from another rival gangster, sort of really big gangsters. So that's it. So he basically has to go over there, get this kid and get him to his father. Story is simple. Overall, it's kind of a forgettable kind of movie. It's got some brilliant big effects, some great action sequences though, so don't take that away. And Chris Hemsworth does a really, really good job with what he's got. I just don't think they utilised him enough. So overall, a 7 out of 10 from me on that one. Not a bad watch, easy going. If you need a 2-hour action movie, this is great for that. So that's Extraction on Netflix. A little bit disappointing, but you may enjoy it. Let me know in the comments below. The Last Dance on on Netflix. This is a new Netflix original documentary series that's coming out weekly, I believe, about the Chicago Bulls during their sort of heyday, the main era, you know, when they had Michael Jordan, who probably one of the biggest sporting stars ever. And it's a really, really good little documentary. Myself, I'm not a massive basketball fan. One of my best mates, Terry, is. So the only time I really watch basketball is when I was around his house. And it is a very, very enjoyable game, but I barely get enough time to watch football when it's on, so I can't fit in basketball as well. But this documentary is really fascinating, and it shows, you know, how big this team is worldwide. You know, you see them sort of going to Paris and they're as big as the Beatles sort of thing. It is crazy. It's really, really good. It's a kind of a fly-on-the-wall documentary, you know, warts and all. So if you're into NBA or into sport generally, I think you will enjoy this one. Very, very quick review on that. I just want to make you aware of it. So check that one out and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. The Wave on Sky Cinema. The Wave is a very unusual movie. It's a kind of comedy slash sci-fi. The cast you will recognise, but not necessarily sort of as leading men these days. You've got the guy from Jeepers Creepers, for example, is the lead. Justin, I can't recall his surname. And then you've also got the gentleman who was in Scrubs, who played the boyfriend, the guy from Clueless, things like that. And those two are really, really good in this, actually. The budget is quite low, but the story is very, very intriguing. If you're into kind of indie movies, I think you'll enjoy this. So the story follows about a guy who basically is about to get his big job promotion the next day, things like that. He's having a bit of troubles at home with his missus, pops out for a couple of drinks with his friend, and then it gets cray. He's at a party, he takes some substance, and then the next day he's kind of got to deal with everything that's gone on, and it gets very, very weird. This movie has elements of all kind of films that I used to like, such as Scanner Darkly. You've got a few cheap kind of effects like Scanner Darkly in it. It's also got sort of Donnie Darko elements, but you know, Donnie Darko is my favourite film of all time, so it's not Donnie Darko standard. So it won't be for everyone, but if you're looking for something a little bit different and, you know, a little bit wacky, a bit indie, I think this one is for you. For me, overall, I found it enjoyable. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10, but I'd be interested to know what you guys think. So let me know what you think in the comments below. The Martian on Netflix. The Martian isn't a brand new film, but it has just come to the Netflix streaming service. It came out, I think, in 2016. It was nominated for 7 Oscars. It stars Matt Damon, who throughout the movie gives a great range of acting, from great comedy moments to some real dramatic, sad moments as well. The story follows an astronaut who basically goes on a mission to Mars and ends up getting stuck on Mars. And it's about how he sort of survives on Mars on his own, things like that. His communication back to the Earth, should they try and rescue him, things like that. It's a really, really captivating drama comedy, I guess. It's a kind of all-round film, actually. I couldn't really pigeonhole it into a drama or comedy. It's a crowd pleaser. It was also directed by Ridley Scott, who did Gladiator. Think of that kind of epic proportion of a movie. As I was watching this, I did find it a bit boring and a bit slow in some parts, but I think it's because Matt Damon's character was kind of so funny, sort of through all these adverse conditions, things like that. And I think, me personally, I'd be like stressing out like anything. So I think that's the only thing that maybe is sort of a struggle to get with at first. It is quite a long film as well. It's well over 2 hours. Be prepared to sit down and really get engrossed. But it is one of those movies where you do kind of sort of just get involved in it. When it ends, you're kind of a bit like, oh, you didn't really want it to end. Overall, a very, very good film. If you like something like Castaway, I think you might enjoy it. Matt Damon's a brilliant actor as well. So, you know all the quality of acting throughout this movie is going to be great. Effects, everything like that are fantastic as well. Overall, a really, really good watch. Just wanted to bring it to your attention in case you guys haven't seen it yet and you are getting stuck with something to watch. So The Martian on Netflix is out now, and I'd say probably about an 8 out of 10. A really, really good film. Gangs of London on Sky Atlantic, and also Now TV if you don't have Sky Atlantic. Gangs of London is one of the best series I've ever seen. The story follows one of the top gang families in London, and the head of the family has basically been murdered, father of the family, and everyone, the son has to step up, and you've got all the family, all this going on, then other gangs and stuff, you know, trying to sort of take a liberty while they're all going through this traumatic time. This series is brilliant, honestly, up there. 9 out of 10 for me. It has everything. The first couple of episodes I struggled to get through because the main actor's actually from Peaky Blinders, and he kind of plays a really posh character in London, and obviously used to him playing Birmingham. He's so used to him playing that character, it's really hard to adjust at first, but give it time and then obviously you just get used to it. Now the first episode I sort of watched it, I thought, I'm not too sure. Some of the sort of green screen effects seemed a bit OTT, you know, there were so many characters, a lot going on. I thought, you know, is this going to be one of those where everyone's a bit, you know, you don't really get to build any character development, things like that, it's too many people, but it is brilliantly done. There's 9 episodes in series 1. The episodes range. The first episode's about an hour and a half, it's like a movie. After that, I think they're about an hour each. I think there's one that's about 40 something minutes as well. If you like Game of Thrones, and if you like Peaky Blinders, and then they had a baby, Gangs of London, Bosch, happy days. It's modern day take on gangs. It's got all the kind of, you know, the Game of Thrones, you know, battle for power, the different like areas, you know, different leaders, things like that. It's brilliant, just absolutely brilliant. I loved it, binged, watched it, and I tell you what, I lost a lot of sleep over this, and it was worth it. It is very, very gory. There's loads to keep you guessing throughout. Don't know who's going to double cross who. You've got some real big, amazing characters. The fight scenes are just epic. If you started watching it, didn't really like the first episode, stick with it, because honestly, it just gets better and better. So check it out and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. That's all we got time for this week, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you everybody who has been sharing my videos, sharing the quiz, and everybody who's joined my Facebook group. So if you haven't yet, go over to Facebook and join the Murfsworld group, where you'll be the first to be informed of any sort of updates, things like that, if you're not checking the comments regularly on these videos. If you haven't, please leave a comment, especially if you enjoyed the video. It'd be great to hear your thoughts. Also hit the like button and the notifications tab if you haven't already, and be the first to be informed as soon as I put up a new video. And obviously, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe, as it goes a long, long way to helping our channel grow. There are some massive releases coming out next week as well, so make sure you come back next Thursday. If you haven't already, you can go back and watch the old episode. I review at least 3 things a week, so if you are stuck for something to watch, watch back some of the old episodes, and hopefully you'll find some hidden gems. So that's it for this week, guys. I hope you have a great week, whether it be in isolation or whether you are still out and about helping the country survive. And all I wish is best of luck, and I will see you guys next Thursday.
Thank you for staying to the end of the video. We hope you've enjoyed the show this week and found something useful to watch. Now, you know what else is useful? Subscribing. To subscribe to the channel, just use that little thing down there somewhere. That's it. Press that button. There you go. Tasty, tasty. And then there's some older episodes there, full of reviews. So if you're stuck for something to watch, go and watch them all. I did. Oh, and I'm a pig.